Regular show knockoffs. Damn, 150K in a month? Nah.
The 2010s were one of the best eras for cartoons, especially for Cartoon Network. After the latter half of the 2000s, where they seemingly lost their
Yo,
minds with all
Destroy
the
Boats
live
Destroy? Oh my god, this was underrated, bro. I love watching. That's like a Mr. Beast video before it was Mr. Beast, bro.
network. After the latter half
Damn.
of the 2000s, where they seemingly lost their minds with
They would build some shit and then blow it up, and then they would have to like piece it back together for a whole different challenge. Oh my god, that
all
shit.
the
Hole in the
live
wall.
action nonsense, Cartoon Network would create Regular Show, Adventure Time, and just a bit later, The Amazing World of
bet,
Gumball.
bro.
These three cartoons were the big three of CN, and just a bit later, The Amazing World of Gumball.
Damn, Gumball is really the big three for that era. I understand it, and it's definitely top 5 for me. But definitely, like, bro, it was always Regular Show and Adventure Time. It was like neck and neck, bro. I still don't know to this day which one's better. Like right now, I'm leaning more towards Regular Show. Like a couple months ago, you asked me, I was saying Adventure Time just because the plot. They had an actual plot, but I'm like, bro, I've been watching Regular Show a couple times. That shit's actually good. I knew it was actually good, but I'm just saying, Loki might be better than Adventure Time. Damn, bro.
Cartoon Network would create Regular
Like,
Show,
bro, it's
Adventure
crazy.
Time, and just a bit later, The Amazing World of Gumball.
But I think Gumball is not even in the conversation. Like, for them two. Like, it's definitely these two, and then Gumball could be the three.
These
down
three
there.
cartoons were the big three of CN. Ask any kid during this era what their favorite cartoon was, and there was a pretty good chance you'd get one of these three. Gumball was always
100%.
my favorite. I never really clicked with Adventure Time as much as everyone else. I just didn't find it as funny or entertaining as the other two, and Regular Show was a very close second. Regular Show is so weird. It's obvious that
I ain't gonna lie, Regular Show is definitely the funniest, bro. Like, Regular Show is by far the funniest.
it was meant to be made for Adult Swim first. Like, some of the stuff that happens in the show, especially in the
Crazy.
earlier episodes, always had me thinking, how did they get away
pissed
with
me
this?
off. Like, I was like, what? Like, when they said that shit, I'm like,
Regular
damn,
Show ended
like,
up being
cussing on
pretty
this show?
popular. It lasted 8 seasons and even got a movie.
Nah, the
something both
Camp
Adventure
War?
Time and Gumball are yet
Nah, I remember one of the episodes where they were going to war with the other park and shit, bro. That
to
shit
be
was
popular.
crazy.
It lasted 8 seasons and even got a movie. Something
shit was
both
like 30
Adventure
minutes.
Time
That
and
was like a
Gumball are
special.
yet to do. And with all forms of success come very poor imitators. Although and Gumball are yet to do. It lasted 8 seasons and even got a movie. Something both Adventure Time and Gumball are yet to do. And with
Okay, Adventure Time and Gumball don't got a movie. Damn. I feel like Gumball should have definitely had a movie, bro. Adventure Time, I feel like they wrapped that shit up already, so I feel like a movie is like dead at this point. It will still do numbers, but it's like, what are you gonna do it on?
With all forms of success come very poor imitators.
Interesting.
Although, I gotta clarify here, when I say Regular Show knockoff, I mean shows that were clearly trying to recapture the appeal of Regular Show. Not like Legend of Lucky Pie and Miracle Star shit, where it's just some blatant ripoff that was made in a Chinese factory. And the first show on the list is...
Pickle and peanut.
Pickle and peanut.
Pickle and peanut.
Pickle and Peanut was
What am I
Disney's
looking at?
answer to Regular Show. It's about the
Disney?
two titular characters, Pickle and Peanut, getting into wacky hijinks. And I
This is a Disney show? Nah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. From the animation itself, bro, I was thinking Adult Swim, Cartoon Network. There was no way this is Nickelodeon or Disney. What the fuck? This is some Cartoon Network shit, bro. What? Disney
show.
XD?
It's about the two titular characters, Pickle and Peanut, getting into wacky hijinks. And I think from that very
This animation is disgusting too, bro. What is this, bro? Like, you got like actual like real pictures of pickles and peanuts, and then like a fucking look at this drawn out like pencil. What is this background? What am I looking at right now? This still look disgusting, bro.
vague
This
description
is not appealing at all, bro. This remind me of some fucking Squidbilly shit, bro, from Adult Swim. Like, what is this?
and just seeing how the show looks, you can probably guess why this cartoon has been mostly forgotten to time.
A minute, that zit wasn't on my
Oh,
butt this morning.
Oh
Oh, hey, little
no.
buddy, what's your name?
Ray.
I remember this. I remember this. I remember this episode. This is, oh my goodness. So I never watched this show, but you know how like Disney XD would rerun the first episode of a show like 100 times. I remember seeing this and thinking that this show was like the worst thing ever. All of these regular show knockoffs never.
I remember that for a couple cartoons that came out around that time with Regular Show and Adventure Time. Like I remember, like I don't remember if it was Mondays or like what day it was, but they were like, "Oh, a new series." I remember watching the series, like, bro, this shit is whack, bro. I'm looking at Uncle Grandpa, like, how the fuck this shit even make it this far? Like that shit was trash.
Never seemed to understand what made
It
regular.
was better than other shows, but like there was a lot of shows that like were out for like 2 months, bro, and they canceled that shit real quick.
Show work. It wasn't just two stupid idiots doing dumb things. It was more about how every character's flaws would escalate to a problem that was ridiculously comical. Like in the Def Kwando episode, Rigby's insecurities about his strength and him always being beaten by Mordecai causes him to seek out dangerous martial arts. So let's take a look at a random episode of Pickle and Peanut. So this is season 2, episode 1A, and in this episode, Pickle and Peanut lose their pet and put out a missing poster to find it. But whoa, Pickle writes 500,000 on the poster because he's an idiot. And so then mercenaries show up under the impression that they're gonna get paid $500,000, but Peanut thinks it's only gonna be $50 because that's what he wrote before Pickle decided.
What the fuck? What am I looking at, bro? Like, these animations are like, bro, if I'm a kid, bro, I'm traumatized by this shit, bro. What am I looking at, bro? What is this?
But Peanut thinks it's...
Bro, no one's watching this shit, bro. Throw this shit on Adult Swim and call it a day.
It's only gonna be $50 because that's what he wrote before Pickle decided to mess everything up. And then the whole episode plays out and there's a bunch of lame jokes and then, the mercenaries find out and then Pickle says the poster actually says 500,000 hugs. And the episode ends. Now you see, I could see Regular Show doing a plot like this, but the difference is, none of the characters would have an IQ of freezing point. Pickle and Peanut has 2 jokes. 1. Pickle is incredibly stupid. 2. Random funny, haha, XP, explosion, epic random is funny 2010s humor that is not funny. You know how cartoons and kid shows from the 2010s were obsessed with random being funny because
this is one of the shows when I tuned in, like once it dropped, like this is like the series premiere, I'm like, okay, bet, new series, let me see if I fuck with this shit. Bro, I'm looking at this shit like, yeah, bro, get this shit off my screen. Don't play this shit ever again.
Stuff in the internet.
Like, y'all about to piss me off. I don't see Johnny Test. Like, don't put this shit over any other show.
And thought, yeah, random humor is what all the kids are into.
Damn.
I will burn this planet down before I spend another minute living among these animals.
That's the entire show. It is so desperately trying to
I'm pretty sure that show like is like Mountain Epic or something, Mountain Awesome or something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Bombard you with nonsensical, spontaneous stimuli that it kind of feels pathetic. You watch the intro theme and you realize that this is a show that is going to try way too hard, way too often. The only benefit to this type of writing is that in 10 years from whenever it airs, there's gonna be some YouTube video or some Twitter account called Pickle and Peanut Out of Context, and the algorithm will spread that video or account like the plague and trick people into thinking that the show was actually good. Okay, so before we continue, I think I need to justify myself here and sort of explain what constitutes a regular show knockoff. I've narrowed it down to 3 main things. 1. A main character duo that are both incredibly dumb and or stupid. 2. A side character that is shown to be tortured by the main pair's stupidity. And 3. It came out after Regular Show. Okay. Now, I know that this list of criteria might implicate a bunch of shows that I haven't watched, but I think what makes these examples in this video different is that it's clear the intent was there. In all honesty, I don't think Sanjay and Craig was made with the sole purpose of being a Regular Show clone, but first and foremost, a spiritual successor to Fanboy and Chum Chum. Which is strange because, surprisingly, Sanjay and Craig did actually manage to get a laugh out of me.
Yeah, Sanjay and Craig wasn't that bad.
Gross, man! Was that you? Okay, your mom's gone. Let's move in.
More than an answer on nothing. No,
okay, that one got me. And would you look at that? A protagonist that's a person of color in 2013? Nowadays they hand out that shit like candy. And for whatever reason, they always default to black women. Not that there's a problem with that, I just find it funny that the solution to a lack of representation was so...
What is this Fairly Odd Knockoff? Timmy finally moved on.
one note. Sanjay and Craig is kind of stuck in that weird
crazy.
limbo of 2010s cartoons where the joke is gross out humor. The show is kind of grotesque in ways that aren't
for
really
sure.
funny.
Oh, God.
It's fart jokes, it's butt jokes, it's stuff that you might have found funny as a kid, but you probably don't anymore because you've just grown up. I actually watched Sanjay and Craig when I was a kid as well, but it was only because it was always on before something like TMNT.
That shit remind me of fucking Bob's Burgers.
Sanjay and Craig when I was a kid as well, but it was only because it was always on before something like TMNT, so nothing really stuck with me. Except for one particular episode. Season 2, Episode 16B. Sanjay and Craig discover a bronze statue in Sanjay's mother's old room when visiting his grandma. Sanjay's mom reluctantly allows them to bring it home, and then the whole episode just turns into a horror-themed escape from the statue. This isn't exactly scary now, but as a kid, this episode freaked me out so much. It was just so tonally different from what I'd expect from the show. The first episode is about Sanjay and Craig trying to witness an ass transplant. How did we get here? After revisiting this horrifying episode, I watched one where they made themselves really old to get free wings, and yeah, that's enough. This show is gross. You know what? Can we talk about how Nickelodeon cartoons have sucked for a really long time now? Back in the 90s and early 2000s, Nickelodeon had a lot of pretty well-remembered shows. Even I question how Nickelodeon managed to produce something like Avatar, and the year after it ended, they made Fanboy and Chum Chum. But I think what really gets me about Nickelodeon cartoons is how they haven't made a good cartoon in a really long time. Take a look at the 2010s. I can count on my finger how many
bro?
good Nick cartoons came out
Breadwinners
during the 2010s.
Damn.
Those cartoons being Legend of Korra, TMNT 2012, Harvey Beaks, and The Loud House, which I hear actually got worse as it went along. Like, it became like a second SpongeBob, but I don't know, I was too old to see it through. Now take a look at that list again. Legend of Korra is a spin-off to Avatar, TMNT 2012 and Rise are both TMNT properties, Harvey Beaks was cancelled, and The Loud House has probably reached seasonal rot and is growing mold like SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents. And I think that's really interesting because Nickelodeon's entire identity now is just reminding you of what they once were. Look at Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. Isn't it crazy how 95% of that game's roster is all franchises that are over 20 years old? Nickelodeon hasn't been good in a very long time. And I have a crazy conspiracy theory. Breadwinners was the ground zero for the fall of Nickelodeon. Can't put it into words or even explain it, but something about Breadwinners is especially and exceptionally terrible. It feels like no one cared when making it. Nobody who worked on this show cared. Okay, so what's so terrible about Breadwinners? The simple answer is that despite being loud and obnoxious and overly animated and hyperactive, it somehow feels boring. And when I look at episodes of modern SpongeBob or some of the other Nickelodeon cartoons from around this era, I realize that they all suffer from the same disease. I'm not even going to try and summarize an episode I watched because I don't think it's even worth it. Breadwinners fails as a regular show clone mostly because Sway Sway and Beduce do not contrast each other enough to justify them being the comedic duo. One is tall, one is small, they're both equally stupid. In fact, this is sort of a problem that all of these regular show clones have. A comedic duo works best when the duo have different personalities. Breadwinners feels like it was made by people who have never spoken to kids in their entire life. You know, I think one of the reasons regular show was so popular and is still so fondly remembered is that despite the wacky scenarios, the insane escalations, the absurdity of everything, its characters still felt like people, not distorted caricatures of what executives think kids find funny. It's why Rigby going back to get his high school diploma feels so good, because this is an actual character with relatable emotions.
Facts.
Anyway, that's
a good ass take. I understand that.
gonna be it for this video. It was fun
It's like they try to like just overly like make these characters relate and be super kiddish and like taken it from reality. Which
visiting some stuff my brain seemed to have deliberately repressed. If you liked this video, you'd be doing me a huge favor by liking and subscribing.
So it was basically Pickle and Peanut was the biggest knockoff. Damn, bro. Nickelodeon need to hit. Piccolo Pina is OG brain rot. What the fuck? Piccolo Pina is the perfect show to wake up to at 3 and 4 a.m. What the fuck? I've watched Sunday Incredible as a kid and it's absolutely nothing like a regular show. I mean, you didn't watch the video, did you?